All right, Grand Rising, everyone. Oh, okay, no volume. Okay, so Grand Rising, everyone. It is Shalonda or Shay Seeking, and we're gonna go ahead and look into some things. Again, I don't know, Colombia has been on my mind, right? So you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is, like I said, we're just gonna do somewhat of a freestyle. Again, it probably would be probably like an hour-long video. Um, on things that are just random when it comes to Colombia and the essence of um, the being. Because, we all have to realize that there's always a parallel when something like this iconic, a goddess, empress, or someone, comes to life or is on, you know, this plane as a living god or goddess, right? Or some type of energy or deity. It is not worshiping these deities to speak of the essence of or the energy or what they brought to the table. It's to also find something that is within us that we are tapping into at this point in time. So I don't even really pay attention to the images of, right? But what I'm going to do, I think, for the first half of the video is probably just read a couple of these different articles that I found were, one is more the cookie cutter version from Wikipedia, and then we're going to skim through another more altered approach when it comes to Isis energy, okay? So again, it makes me think about the whole Isis K thing and things like this, right? Rome has been on the dome. Also. So again, I think that this has something to do with that. I think it has something to do with the Trojan energy and stuff that I sense again when it comes to what's going on right now, because you would have to think that if this woman was standing up the way that she did, right? Let's even look at her with this bow in her hand. Oh, well, you can't see it. I can't. I'm gonna share the images with you guys, and hopefully the second part of the video. So, yeah, like I said, there's just this whole energy here, and like I said, I don't know, it's something I guess that being this vassal, right? I noticed that expressing myself in different, uh, expressing myself, right, in a manner of tapping into these energies is not always my choice, right? So again, I look at this as if I did not come to, if people are trying to test me or something like that, I did not come to fit into this particular world. I have come to make sure that is a new and that it has something to do with me and you, right? So again, that it's not just something that's being done on a level and things done under our noses, and as if we the people, or the people in general, don't have a choice. And that's where I think that we're going wrong with this, all of these agendas and this manipulation. And that's just what it is. So let's go ahead and read here, all right? Because I noticed that, and this is no offense, anybody can take it. But I'm just saying, I'm never coming here. I'm just a straight shooter. I don't play around. I'm not coming here to appease or please anyone or anything like that. I'm just bringing this information. And again, I've noticed that it just this, I don't know why this whole feminine, I feel like the feminine energy is surrounding me right now, because again, like I said, I was just thinking to myself, you know, like, because I feel like these empresses and these goddesses, they come to me, right? And they're trying to, I don't know, assist in a way. It's just it's strange. It's that love, you know what I'm saying? I think it's just that divine love, and it transcends. This is something that it doesn't disappear. That when it disappears is because of oppression, right, and manipulation, right. So again, I realized that being in this energy and having energies attached to those energies and energies attached to me, right, it's I can see, right, okay, just with Esther, with all of these women, it was presented in the biblical text as if they did not have a choice or they did not have fight in them, right? You know, when you look at different groups, everybody has some kind of fight in them. They have some kind of power, some kind of standing behind them to actually change the course of things, right? Where I feel like, again, we get the perception that something has changed because of King's speech, but we see that although things have changed, it's not enough, right? But us having a perception is enough for people to keep on going on and doing, manipulating the situation, oppressing people and suppressing information, and also, you know, altering information, right? And silencing, right? So it's just this whole thing as to, I see kind of like what these women were dealing with, because right now the energy of the masculine energies that they dealt with, I have to deal with them. So it's a sense of this whole oracle, seer, scrying, clairvoyant energy or whatever that has me to mingle with. So even it just reminds me of that Jesus energy or that Christ energy, because Jesus may be a figure, or they giving us a perception of what Jesus and who they want us to think that Jesus is, right? But again, that Christ energy is that light, is that illumination, is that something, right? Is that essence, right? It is the thing. The feminine energy is the light, that force, the light force behind it all, right? So we're just going to read through here a little bit, right? Just to get a common ground as to what we're talking about. And then I like to take the alternative approach, and I like to see what also is coming to me from the energy at this point in time. And something just told me, don't even do nothing with yourself. Just get up and get in front of the camera. So that's what we're doing, okay? So it says here that the goddess Columbia, the making of a new goddess for a new world, right? So again, if I look at that energy, and like I said, oh, okay, all right. So even in this instance, I feel, and I think this article is from like 2020, right? There's something about 1920 that has to do with Columbia energy as well. We were in 2020, it's 2021. You know, I feel like, again, the molding that has been done was to kind of create a image of Columbia. Because when I think about Columbia, I go back to Amerique, right? And that's the image what I told you guys. I can't remember who the two, it doesn't have names on there, but you know, if you guys have been sharing information or whatever, indigenous information, you've run across it with the antediluvian American woman with the afro and the feather in her hair. You know what? Hold on. We can try real quick to look for it real quick. Let's see if we can. Because I think it has something more to do with America and the French alliance, if I'm not mistaken. And like, it's so much information. I know we did something on this a long time ago, probably in more detail, but like I said, it comes and goes. Like the amount of information is ridiculous. So and I think, yeah, it did have something to do with South America, Mexico. I think Moses and Aaron Burr, which we were comparing to Moses and Aaron in the biblical text. Yeah, we're not gonna find it, and I have 1,000, too many images or whatever. It's just not gonna be the case right now. So let's see. Get back to where we were. Okay. So again, I can feel that sense of, again, there's always that duality. There's always the new and old goddess. The energy is exchanging. So again, that's why I want to kind of look through it to see what is what, because we know that the victors write the story, they document the images, and you have to be able to decipher and see in between and read in between the lines to see what we're really talking about. It's just all it is. Okay. So again, like I said, when it comes to these masculine energy, it's almost like that fathering energy, but it's almost like how Moana, her dad didn't want her going to the water. Okay. Right. So with Esther in the book The Spring, her dad didn't want her scrying, right? Didn't want her using her gifts, right? it's just always these overbearing father energy. I mean, we could just go to Disney because everybody knows about Disney, right? With Ariel, she was always in trouble. She got to be like, oh, dad, And I think it's the same thing. Like I said, just me, and not even being bratty, and you know what I'm saying, being appreciative for what I do feel like, even though there are times, I can get upset sometimes when I'm talking to Elohim, like. I think a lot of people, and it's not to say that I'm being rude or anything like that, but I think a lot of people don't challenge things, and challenging just comes off as being defiant, and it's really just somebody has to do it. Somebody has to take a different approach, a more natural approach. It's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, it's almost like how somebody would meet somebody that would be famous, right? And they may feel some kind of way, right? How you even with me going into a job interview was like the worst thing in the world. I know it was only going to take like 15-20 minutes, but it was just like torture for me in my teens or whatever. So it's almost like, but it was something about me possibly that I wasn't all the way fully me. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, a woman yet, right? But I feel like, again, during this journey, there has been masculine enemies. Yeah, okay. Entities that have helped shape me into that woman, right? But there's also entities that have been attacking that woman with that more fatherly approach, as if, don't do that, don't use your gifts, or don't, that could be detrimental, or this could be, so it's just that there's more. And I've always been someone that hung with the guys more than girls, right? Girls just didn't like me. So like I said, so it's not nothing for me to be like talking to Elohim. If this is what I've sensed as being my parents, or my celestial parents, or my father, then why would I not talk to him kind of like how I talk to my dad, and me and my dad joke around and stuff like that? So I don't know. It's just like, almost like I said, when you're meeting, when you would think that somebody meets somebody famous, they might go all crazy and nuts, right? But with me, you know what I'm saying, in this energy right now, it's just like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what, I don't know. So again, I don't know what to think, how the gods, right? Or God, or source, or the all would think about me doing that. But, I just feel like, a lot of people have been like, oh, fear God and this and that. And I ask God challenging questions that he thinking like, damn, is this even my child? Because these kind of questions gonna get her butt whooped. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But it's, you know what I'm saying? It's not to be any kind of way, but my love and concern for all. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. Because again, sometimes, when I look at the Adam energy of masculine, when he made them both male and female and called them Adam, it makes me think about, again, this whole twin flame journey within thyself as well, and connecting to that higher and lower self. You know what I'm saying? So that you can fluctuate, I guess, through. But like I said, having to be in more of a male energy, where I know that I'm being somewhat guided, but with free will. I know that there is someone, there is an energy or a force that is protecting me. And, I'm thankful every day. Even I might not say it all the time, but I'm thankful every day for that. And even the energies that I see around me that I didn't realize, you know what I'm saying? What me not believing in myself and moving forward in different ways in my life, being in that stagnant energy. Now, okay, so again, just even being in that stagnant energy, right? Now we still working on the shackle, on the chain, the chain on the leg, to, which way, and it just really has to do with what direction, you know what I'm saying? Having that full standing and understanding, and knowing what direction to go in, right? But I do have to say, it's challenging, and you know what I'm saying, when you're a feminine energy, but maybe in a sometimes having to deal with that masculine energy, because I feel like there's different expectations of masculines than feminines. So I look at myself as girly and a feminine energy, right? And all this and that. But when it comes to protection, you know what I'm saying, I got my guard up. And so it's like, and I'm a fighter, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that warrior empress. So again, it's that whole love and war aspect of things, right? So again, it flops up on me. Like sometimes it's like, I'm in masculine. Yeah, you're in masculine, but that also has to do with, going hard when it comes to your finances and things. I'm just telling y'all naturally what I feel like I'm gathering from this whole journey or whatever. In the feminine, it's kind of tricky because I go in between. In the feminine, it's kind of like, I'm an empress and this is how it is. and she's on her throne, and it's kind of like um, she's like on this pedestal or whatever, and maybe there's these suitors or these energies around her, and it's kind of like in that energy, it's almost like I'm waiting. I had been waiting, or there was some kind of something of a presence of a companion, like a spiritual companion or something like that, right? But for me, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, it's almost just that is just a battle. It's almost like I have to, like, in my energy makes people feel some kind of way, distant or something like that. So it feels as though even in my full potential, which I don't even think I'm in, right? I feel like it's intimidating to people, so they don't know how kind of maybe like to approach me, which is disheartening a little bit because then it puts you back in that mask. I don't know, right? Someone that's being someone that should be, I feel in a sense where a suitor should come to her. She should not have to go out and chase. You see what I'm saying? So it kind of brings me back to that whole energy of I don't know. I like a sense of courting or whatever, but well, yeah, the woman mostly in those times would be around her house or the castle or in her tower or whatever, and someone comes to her. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just the whole thing. But again, during the waiting game, there's no, I don't know. I feel like it's a whole bunch of commotion about who and what it is. And I feel like, again, dealing with so many energies, I feel like when it comes to other feminine energies that have come, right? I'm dealing with the energies of the males, again, that were around them. And it just seems like the reason why it's taking so long, again, for me to match up with somebody, whether that's whether that's through some kind of firm agreement and it's like something that's going on, in order to build, right? I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's a problem because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it has to do with lineage or something like that. Maybe it has to do with lineage or your makeup or something like that. But it's just like maybe some people only are could be lined up with certain, when it goes back to like ties and stuff like that, familial ties, with certain people. And maybe, some of us have a bloodline where we, or our makeup can bring many, suitors. But again, I feel like, again, it causes commotion and chaos. So these goddesses, right, they should be I just look at them in a different light now, because I see somewhat of the abusive approach. I see some of the friendly approach. I see all the different approaches or whatever of the men. I see the spitefulness. I see the punishments. You know what I'm saying? I've received the spankings. You see what I'm saying? The punishments, the whole caged bird singing energy. You know what I'm saying? I've had to, and for me, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong, but being me. But I feel like, again, that's that harboring of that something against the actual feminine energy. All right, the matriarchal energy. I think that's a fear of some of these people that aren't in positions of power. And so again, until I think people don't realize until you have to deal with it like that, where you're being pulled and you're being pushed and you're being like it's just a lot to take in. It's a lot. So at this part of my journey, I'm just like, okay. And I see, the smacks in the face, just think about the abuse and things like that. Like, just really think about that. Okay. And everything does not have to be physical. When I'm speaking in a sense of, all around. Okay. A smack in the face could be you feeling a sense that source wants you to say something, and then you say something, you add something to it, like your salt, the salt of the earth, or you add something to it. And then it's kind of like, I didn't tell you to do that. I wanted you to say it how I said it. But it's just like, this is in me. This is me. You know what I'm saying? If you asking me, you know what I'm saying, then this is the way it's going to be. because I'm never going to be here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm simply sharing what it looks like to me. So it's kind of like to also knock out any form of the holy presence of the feminine. So again, I think they will use certain things that may be due to whatever reasons in your life that women have to go through to try to hold that over your head and try to remind you that you're not so holy. But in this case, like people will say redoing or a new birth or a new something. Like I'm saying, I'm not even nothing to play with how I feel about myself right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. Maybe that's just something that makes people uncomfortable. And if men can feel uncomfortable because of that, then I think that's their problem and not mine. They can make it a problem for me, but I'm going to keep on standing in whatever it is I am. And I think if it's in truth and righteousness and, you know what I'm saying, and if I'm doing it for love of the people and not for no kind of shady reason, if I'm not trying to deceive the people, then I think that's what I need to be working on. Because that has to do with me. I have to live with me. But it also gives it like a rebellious streak for these particular women, I think. So that's just the spiritual essence of it. I'm going to read a little bit here, and then we're going to go ahead and stop, and I'll come back with the images that I want to share, because we're going to kind of just look at the images and stuff. I'm starting to like to look more at, well, I always have, like pieces of art when it comes to things that I'm looking into, just to see little things that you might not have seen before. Okay? So it says, because this story repeats itself, right? So it says, for as much vitriol, okay, as Europeans spouted about paganism, because remember that in the Dumb Diverses or Doom Diverses, right, that they were supposed to go and kill all the pagan Saracens and, you know what I'm saying, like this, right? So I'm just saying, and take everything, right? So it says, following their discovery of the Americas and the multifaceted spiritual beliefs of the inhabitants. So the multifaceted, I'm not going to go all the way into it, but that would be a good one to look up in etymology. But I'm thinking if we're talking multifaceted, excuse me, I'm thinking if we're talking multifaceted, we're talking about something that has multiple something, right? And all these stories do. All these stories do, okay? Right? And it's almost like making me think of like the dual experience, again, I feel like some of us are having right now, okay? But then we have to remember the inhabitants are also people that have been brought in. Inhabitants are people that have been brought in. Indigenous also is in. So, that's why I go back to the autochthonous energy, because again, that is just the soil, the earth, in my eyes itself. Inhabitants are offspring or also plants in the biblical text. The concordance says that the earth is talking about people. So when we're talking about earth in Genesis, that's what we're talking about, okay? So in Genesis 1 anyway, okay? All right, so this is somebody that's meeting, talking about whatever the inhabitants. Okay, so it's already also cultural in a sense, at that time. So when we talk about the 1828 dictionary, and it says that America was the term for the people that were found here by the Europeans, but now the term is applied to Europeans, right? That is found here by the Europeans. The Europeans were some of the last people, I feel, to come in after Portugal and Spain and Dutch and all these other energies. I think even French. So if we think about that, then the people were already mixed. See, so it says the copper colored people found here, right? So by then, you know what I'm saying, the people were already, this is how I want to look at it, right? But we're going to look at some interesting images, like I said, in the book in a little while, okay? So again, let's finish, because this is already taken long enough, I feel like, okay? So it says, All right. They sure did love to hearken back to Roman um, and Greek polytheism. In particular, Europeans of the 16th and 17th century often symbolized the continents as classical deities. Europe, Africa, and Asia each had their own manifestation. So again, this made me think about manifest destiny. Maybe that'll come up. But again, but it's still manifest. And I think, ain't the manifest something that's on, does it have something to do with ships? I don't know. I'll have to look, right? So each symbol of the civilization that Europeans had encountered there. So again, see, and that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, like who Europeans had encountered there. And even if we think about that, right? Where did the Europeans come in at? On the East Coast. It goes back to that Blackwater energy. It goes back to New York. Because I don't know. Texas, New York, Georgia, like all these states are just calling out to me. Like even some of the northern states are starting to, right? And I'm from Illinois, right? But then by way of Texas, I lived there for a while, and then Wisconsin for a while. And then, so it's just like, I don't know, something is like, okay? So California, I don't know, it's just, these places are just, I don't know why, but maybe we will see, okay? So, all right. Yeah, so each, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so if you think about that even too, right? That was the people that they encountered when they came here. That means in what, the 16, 17, 16, mid to late 1600s, or possibly even more earlier than that. I found writings earlier, but even we're talking about 1492. Columbus was sent by the Spain, wasn't he? I can't remember, but anyways, we know that the Europeans, like I said, had to do with the coast. All right. So we have to realize that, again, at that time, it was already some kind of multi-something going on, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, because people like to use that. And then some of us are still having that copper skin tone today. You know what I'm saying? So, and it really doesn't have nothing to do with skin tone. You can have any skin tone. I'm just making us aware of that, because those are the terms that they use in that definition, right? So. So maybe it's going to tell us something. When Columbus accidentally stumbled into the New World. Now, I don't even remember all the way Columbus coming into the New World. I thought he went to the islands and then he went somewhere else. But I thought it was like DeSoto and all of them that came into the Americas. I'm seeing, the Lois and Clark energy. I just don't remember that, okay? So again, he accidentally stumbled, and Columbus knew exactly where he was going. Okay? Let's quit playing. He knew exactly where he was going, who he was looking for, and everything like this. And we already did a video on that, and we talked about the whole thing about the book of Enoch, and the angels and things like that, and the giants and whatever, and the reference to some of the islands, the secret islands and stuff that he did actually go to that are not really magnified as much. In some of the writings and stuff around that time, okay? So it says Europeans needed some way to fit this new continent into their symbolic pantheon. Thus, the goddess Columbia was born, okay? So again, that's very interesting. Very interesting, because that's what I'm saying. So you have, okay. So even this reminded me of a whole Eve and Lilith energy, right? Who's Lilith and who's Eve, I feel like it doesn't matter at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the energy is that wisdom, Ruach energy, is heavily rooted in me right now. Not to say it couldn't be in anyone else, but I'm just saying I'm just going with it. Like it's my whole embodiment, it's my whole life right now, right? It's something that even not even right now. I've been working on this. Didn't even know that this was something that was being manifested organically out the damn dirt, out of the ground, my own self for the past 10 years. And now I'm not saying that there's not a higher power that has elected or selected me to do a work, and that when I'm doing that respectfully, right, and lovingly, I am not just going off at the mouth like I want to about everything. It is a form of obedience that goes with it. So for people to think that these women were just unruly, disobedient, and they didn't, you know, they were not able to be worked with, most of the time it was because they didn't want to comply to certain things that they knew was not right, that was being put on them, the pressure that was being put on them. But I feel like if you can endure that pressure without running off, then again, what's going on is you're creating a gem. So even when I look at other people and say, oh, their journey looks so easy, their journey looks so, you know what I'm saying, dang man, why they ain't got to put up with this, why they got to be talking about me, why I got to be the one that got to be the one out, why I always got to be the girl all the girls hate, why this and that and that. And it's because, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't really have nothing to do with them, really. It has something to do with me, right? And it has something, but I had to see that I was worth that anyway to anybody. You see what I'm saying? In order to move forward in that and not come off as like a brat because, right? Because, or some sense of entitlement. No, I had to work. I had to fight. You know what I'm saying? I was a fighter growing up, a tomboy. You know what I'm saying? I had to, and right now it feels like I'm still throwing them bows in a sense, right? So yeah, I don't know, right? But then again, that's okay if you're gonna be scrappy, right? But again, some of these masculine energies don't like that. And is it really just because of the energy, or is it because they fear what you can bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? Because this world has been heavily portrayed on a patriarchal energy for a very long time. The mama have to come clean it up every time, and all the male entities get all of the praise and all of the recognition for it. And again, this time I feel like I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, but I do feel like a sense of that idle energy where we're talking about this new world or this build back better. Whenever that is being spoken of, to me, it just already tells me that somebody, you know, may be displeased with a former model or the actual model, and they want to create something in its likeness and portray that and place that in front. And that is when people go wrong, because you thought you took all the essence, you thought you took all you oppressed this energy enough to keep it under wraps, while you were taking energy and taking advice and taking things from this energy and giving it to this other one, right? In order to use them instead. And for whatever reasons, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, this could just be like, sometimes I feel like there is like a jealous, something envious God energy around. And you know what I'm saying? It doesn't want, there is a push and pull, and it's unfair. It's unfair, I think, to me. And like I said, I see what it is, okay? So it says, the tradition of symbolizing a place in the form of a god or goddess stretched back to Roman times, as did Europe's connection with Africa and Asia. With the coming of the Renaissance and the reintroduction of classical art ideas into European society, rather Roman-looking goddesses came to symbolize the three continents of the old world, right? So again, let's see. So now it's talking about, it should come to no surprise that these three goddesses, Europe came out looking the best. She was always fully clothed in a Roman-style toga, often surrounded by feats of art, war, and science. And see, that's what I'm saying. That's that whole kind of like that universal something, right? Where people that don't have that and can't access and tap into that kind of information are going to automatically say, oh, this is a person that's a pagan, or this person is evil, or look what they use, or look what they do. You know what I'm saying? So again, because they can't really access that, this thing is kind of sad, because again, I see where it's then the women are pitted against women. But it's nobody had no business trying to create a build a being workshop. You know, how can you do that? You know, that's just like, it's like a whole hijack going on, What's wrong with the the natural state of where the information is coming from? And I think it's because they don't want, again, you to be too powerful, again, and stand too much in your presence, because but then they have ways to also knock you right down, right? They got ways of knocking you down, right? All right. And that's just it. And then that's that, sometimes I feel that abusive energy that I feel constructs in society try to use to defile, the goddess or the empress. Thus, she has highlighted Europe's rich classical past and her quickly brightening future with the Renaissance had initiated. Okay, so again, goddess of two continents. Okay, often depicted with recognizable animals and other lands: giant cats, elephants, blah blah blah, camels, whatever. Okay, species, but since these species appear in both continents, the characteristics but again, when we talk about America a lot, like we don't talk about the woolly mammoth, or we don't talk about these kind of things, or the American lioness. We don't talk about those kind of things. We kind of put those underneath we don't talk about our camelite breeds, or the sense of camels being in the Americas at some point in time. Okay, so again, Asia was fully clothed, okay, and Africa's breasts were exposed, though she wore what looks like a toga from the chest down, okay. So again, the New World goddess. The first images of the goddess Columbia that came out of Europe depended on the reports and explorers who had visited the Caribbean, Mexico, Brazil, given that tropical areas were the first points of European contact with the Americas, yes. And I think that's where Columbus stopped, to be honest with y'all. I don't remember him coming all the way into the Americas, okay? The earliest depictions of the American goddess, the goddess often portrayed her surrounded by alligators. So again, that's that whole energy, I feel like, of the oldest serpent, or just, even though alligators are, they're reptilian, but again, serpents and reptiles, I don't know, lizards even, you know what I'm saying? That also, brings me to the bayou, you know what I'm saying? The armadillo, Texas, the parrots or parakeets that they're talking about here, you know what I'm saying? Tropical places, let's see, and other denizens of the Western Hemisphere, such as exotic creatures, help to place this new goddess decidedly in a new world, okay? So again, we have the images. You can go back on, you can not follow me, you can walk with me on Facebook under Shay Seeking, or you can join the group where other people put information there as well, in American Aborigines Unchained. But there's millions, it has to be thousands and hundreds of thousands of videos and all kind of stuff up in there, okay? All right, she's always sporting a feather in her headdress, okay? Let's see, we'll talk about what they're wearing later. I just want to go through here and see if there's any other stuff. So it says Tupinamba. Who is it? What was the I think they called her a witch though. What was her name? Tuppy? I'm just not remembering right now. European artist crafted an Indian princess or goddess. Okay. Let's see, the new goddess, however, meant to portray the lack of culture Europeans perceived in the Americas. Okay, let's see. The New World, Puritan Judge, Apocalyptia. I'm just running through here real quick. Sewall reckoned, however, that men should rather call it Columbia from the magnanimous hero Christopher Columbus, a Genoese. I don't know why did this word just come up. This word came up in something else. It was spelled a little bit different the other day. Who was manifestly appointed by God to be the finder out of these lands. So even this whole energy, like even when it says somebody that was like Columbus, right? So they say Christopher Columbus, but then I don't know why something just made me want to think that Columbus as an energy, right? So it's kind of like a scout energy, like even what I feel like today in these times, where it feels like definitely, whether it is, you know, the gods of this realm in this world, right? Which with little g's, okay, that sent out scouts to find some of us, including, again, like I said, it feels like, again, I embody the capital energy, right? So for somebody to come out and send a scout or whatever to find that energy, right? And then also, you know, you have other beings from other places. I feel you have all kind of things going on right now where, again, these empresses and these high priestess and, you know, are sought after. It just is what it is. And then unfortunately, in the past, I feel like what they did afterwards was to then, especially when it come with a whole bunch of think about like even single women in the so-called black community or indigenous community. But unfortunately, I see a pattern of, after they're done with these women and they won't just be quiet and go and tuck themselves into some kind of something, then again, then that will lead for the whole thing about trying to conduct and place laws and statutes and stuff like that in order to then either mentally imprison, drive them crazy, you know what I'm saying, use them for some other kind of reason, some kind of trafficking energy, you know what I'm saying? It just seems like that's what I see, okay? And if that's not the case, then lock them up somewhere, okay? All right, and then think about that. You got new coming in, right? You got new coming in. So that new, right? These women coming in may be a little bit more pleasing because they don't know themselves. Not to say that they don't have any kind of something about them. I'm just saying, but they're not from America claiming it and coming back for their checks, like King said. Because you could be all the scholarly you want, but I'm saying it's something else that's feared when you know who you are, what you want to get, and how to get it. So I see, again, a lot of the division that happens within the community is just that. It has to do with envy, greed, and all this other stuff, and jealousy and all this other stuff. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? You know, some people just like, well, I'm going to just get mine, and then that's just it. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing I don't like about that is then don't sit in people's face like you there to help, and you know you there to help when it benefits you, but if it doesn't, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to help somebody else. So that's all, right? All right. All right. So I'm just trying to skim through a little bit. We just skimming through. We just looking here, okay? Let's see. Why Columbia? Feminized name of Genoese. Explorer working on behalf of the Spanish crown. Okay, yeah. Okay, by the Spanish crown. Okay. Excuse me. So again, Genesee reminds me of places in Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Northern Illinois. Let me see. But the association, wait. Okay, it's the Spanish crown because associated with the British colonies of the North America, East Coast. East Coast is unclear, but the association stuck. And as the inhabitants of these colonies gained a collective of identity as Americans rather than Englishmen, the name Columbia and the Greek goddess of the Americas were combined into one powerful symbol. And again, I think, you know, like I said, again, and others may think this too, I feel like I'm just the embodiment of that right now. And that's just what it is. It don't have to even mean that to nobody else. It just had to mean that to me. In the decade leading up to the American Revolution, the goddess Columbia and her name used to both hail England and King George to, and extol the virtues of the coming revolution. Again, and this is what we're talking about here. Is there some kind of revolution? Is there some kind of civil war coming? I sense it. I know that people are concerned about it, but if we just be honest about it and speak about it like it's supposed to be spoken about, and we stop trying to hide stuff, you know what I'm saying, then, you know, everybody would know what it is. It would not be no question. But that's not what's being done right now. So it makes me think that I'm not going to sit here and have it where people are just going to be slaughtered. We're just going to have to talk about it the best we can and try to fit through all the little hoops that they want to, the burning hoops they want to put in front of us, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to speaking on these things. How you going to be mad at somebody for going within and using some gifts or some talents that they have? You know, that's just ridiculous to me. So again, it's talking about celebrate George III's marriage to Princess Charlotte. And again, in this time, I know that there is a lot of people that are upset, especially when I talk about anything to do with, even though I don't never think it's in a negative note, anything to do with race or gender or anything, people get bananas. And it's just like, why are you so mad? The only reason why people would get so mad is that they know that it's true, that there's some kind of tyrannic, some kind of something overly possessive energy that is trying to, you know, control the narrative or trying to do something. And so again, it's just, that's just all it is. It's not, it ain't got nothing to do with nothing personal. But again, I can't please everybody. You don't have to, you know, like I said, I ain't never here to tell you what it is or what it ain't. Right? You take it or leave it. Behold, Britannia, in thy favored isle at distance, thou Columbia, view thy prince, for ancestors renowned for virtues more. At those soul not, grim tyranny. Okay, hold on, let's stop. For ancestors renowned for virtues more, at whose soul not, grim tyranny aghast. With grudging strides, high swift from British climes, while liberty undaunted rears her head. Now, I don't know what we just said, but you know, the whole thing, we were talking about the Princess Charlotte energy, the Charlotte energy in general. For some reason, like I said, when it comes to Columbia, I think about South Carolina. South Carolina. That I think of. You know, it's a lot of things that goes back to the Mesopotamian energy. Again, the whole Edisto energy. You know, I always wanted to know more about my grandma and my great grandma. But again, you know, I did read a little bit into it, and it's just like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I feel like you could do all that reading, but something already said, she already like, I'm here already, honey. How you think you got this far? So again, you think about that too, when you're dealing with your ancestors and they coming in, these ancient gods and stuff like that, that may feel some kind of way about that energy in you, you know what I'm saying? So that is another thing too. And then, you know what I'm saying, when I'm thinking about the spiritual realm, you know, the great grandma might be like, nah, that's why it's been severed. Don't even trip. So it's just like that, you know, and then there's other ancestors like, nah, honey, this is why I kept them around, you know. So it's like, regardless of what people say, you know what I'm saying, I have to deal with it how I see it. Okay. And that's just what it is. And again, like I said, I'm at a point right now where it's just like, I don't know. Like, even like not even get the word. It's just like, when I see it, I don't know. Right? And that's what it is. It's at a point where there's a tangible thing here. I was thinking like, oh, it's all in my head. What is this going on? But no, there's something supposed to be going on here. There's some kind of movement. And I'm just like, okay. It might not be what you thought, but don't think it's your fault. Right? So, yeah. All right, thy prince. Okay. Let's see. And then my thing is, you know, because people salty and people mad, you know what I'm saying? They want to try to create kind of division. They want to create all this stuff. They want to threaten me with taking my, you know, masculines away. And so that brings me back into that Columbia energy too. Like, bring my damn sons back. You know what I'm saying? That bring me into that energy, you know, as well. Right? That bring me into that energy as well. Or just leave even that whole new something hot, something bringing something new and fresh and in. But again, I still feel like, you know what I'm saying, I think that we the people, like I said, we the ones we've been waiting for. That energy is in us, 80s 90s babies, and it's something about that. You know, I know they got millennial energy or whatever, but it's something about those babies. This is our thing right now, for the people. You know what I'm saying? I think we are the ones that kind of took it out of the mud. We the one, and then even the people that you don't see or didn't realize were there cheering you on. You know what I'm saying? It might have been like whatever throughout that time, but you know what I'm saying? Just acknowledging that. I don't know. Something just hit me full circle. Like, and I know people could be mad. That's why I don't take things personal. I don't hold grudges and I don't do whatever, because I know ain't nobody perfect, right? So it's just like, yeah, I think it's the healing of that energy right there. The last generation that have real grandmas. Not to say these grandmas ain't real these days. They just different. But you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about them. You know? That's what I'm talking about. All right? So let's see. Let's see what else they say here. Okay. 1 Century Scares performed its destined round when Galaic powers Columbia's furry found. And so may you, whosoever dares disgrace the land of freedom's heaven defended race. Fixed are the eyes of the nation on the scales, for in their hopes Columbia's arms prevail. Annan, Britannia, droops the pensive head, while round increase the rising hills of dead. Wow. The rising hills of dead. That is talking about the whole energy, like I said, this soft, silent genocide energy, regardless if it's talking about in the physical or spiritual, or when it comes to legalities or whatever, there is something happening. The paper genocide, including like the changes that were made on the census, the changes that were made to documents to change things. You know, this is also a form of genocide. So, excuse me, it's killing off someone to not be a nation. It's sheltering or covering something, like the star that we saw on that USS Bruton seal. It's those kind of things. It's the signs and symbols. This is how it works. That woman she senses the culling. She senses the something of. It's just something. And it's like a rebellious, stiff-necked energy when it comes to some of these corporations and some of these, agendas, especially when it comes to race, class, sex, and all these things. Because those are the vicious things that have been birthed throughout this world and this nation right now, that actually don't give a damn or don't regard the new or the old. It's my way or the highway. You either go with this LGBT energy and let us, put it in schools and do like this, you know what I'm saying? Or nothing. You know what I'm saying? The family unit don't matter no more like that. These kind of things don't matter no more. The feminine, that's just a climbing something to get to this point where now you see what this real thing is over us. And it has nothing to do with the people. It has to do with a certain agenda. But again, a lot of these people have not dealt with those things inside of them. And so that's why I feel like that. Even straight people, I'm just saying people in general. And that's why they tend to go to emotions and anger and aggressive acts and humiliation and this bulldog energy, instead of really taking it in and saying, wait a minute. Like people that are in their right sense of mind do. And I'm not saying that is applied to one group. I'm saying in general. As soon as you say the letters, antenna are like ready to just. So you once you know who you can't talk about, even in just a conversation, even in just a positive note, then you will feel the wrath. And mama got to say, hold on, baby. There ain't you without me. You got free will, and people are able to do what they want to do, and they should not be harmed, and they should not be judged. But wait a minute. See, take these seats. And that's what it feels like to me. So it's no offense. It's no offense. But we cannot allow for the abusive nature that happens after people speak out about something, especially if they were not even speaking in a harmful light. That is dangerous. That is absolutely dangerous. That's a bully, man. That is dangerous. That's very dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. And then I think I'm just going to go ahead and highlight some things, and we're going to come back, and then we're going to go ahead, like I said, and look at this more at a level of, like I said, it has something to do with like Columbia and ISIS energy. And we're going to look at a couple of images when we do that. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back. Take care.